Christopher says that it sounds like the establishment doesn't want us to think that the legal system is available to us. I'm just now hearing about enslaved people suing for freedom. It feels like a pattern. Learning for Justice published something, what's the date on this? In the summer of 2016 that kind of talks about this case, and the title of it is Browder v. Gale. And if you just search for Browder v. Gale, Learning for Justice, then this should pop up. But it's subtitled The Most Important Civil Rights Case You've Never Heard of. So it's not that I have uncovered something, that is was hidden, but apparently there's this just widespread notion that this case has not received the attention that it should. It has not been given the same level of importance as the boycott. And I just want to read the last kind of section of this article because I think it summarizes very nicely what I was thinking as I was learning more about this. But also it just kind of lets us know how if we're not thinking critically even about the history that we've been taught about our own community, about ourselves, then we may be missing out on really important pieces that if we try to replicate it, if we're trying to do what we did back then, if we're missing important pieces of the puzzle, we're not going to get the same result. So the last section is titled Selective Memory. The Browder v. Gale ruling would not be made official until December 20th, when it was served to city officials. And that is also the date history books typically point to when declaring the boycott a success. But there's a problem with that line of thinking. The significance of the boycott as a consciousness-raising, galvanizing experience cannot be overstated. But with segregationist obstruction continuing, Black resolve potentially waning, and another winter approaching, scholars disagree about whether the boycott would have succeeded without the ruling. And I just want to pause there because that's what I was wondering. That's what I was questioning. How much longer would this boycott have gone on had the ruling not come to fruition? Had these women not sued, would we still be talking about this boycott being a success? And that I just don't know. But I guess we're going to see in today's time because we have boycotts happening, and we'll see if some of these organizations and companies are going to meet the demands based on the boycott or if they won't. Continuing on with the last piece of this section, Browder's story has been marginalized in most accounts of civil rights history. Most versions of this desegregation story begin with Rosa Parks' courageous stand and end with the Supreme Court's ruling, often failing to mention the case or the names of Browder and the other plaintiffs. Part of this likely stems from our preference for the lone hero standing against injustice. For students studying the movement, the knowledge that the boycott was this carefully planned and meticulously orchestrated work of thousands, many of who were unknown activists at the time, is in and of itself a revelation and has the power to build understanding of the difficult process behind social change. But without a true picture of how legal activism intertwined with grassroots organizing to elicit change, the revelation will always be incomplete. If it's worth teaching the whole story, not just a portion of it. The parts you leave out may just turn out to make your story a lie. I think that last piece, which was a quote from the cases Butler v. Gale, Butler's son has actually written a book, and I want to get this book. I want to read it because I think that, again, we're gonna learn us something if we check out this book and learn more about what it is. And I'll put the book in the comments. So if you want to go to your local library or your local bookstore and see if they have this book or can order this book for you, then I would recommend doing that. But again, I think you're absolutely right, Christopher, that there's parts of this story that we weren't told, and it's probably because if we utilize the legal system in the way that the legal system has been utilized against us, then we would make so much more progress so much faster. Just my thoughts.